About a year ago, I made a video about 110 film cameras, and I was in love with them, and I thought they were the best thing since sliced bread. I still enjoy 110 film, but I'm gonna stop shooting 110 or at least take a break from it for a few reasons. Last week I went to pick up a 110 film order I had dropped off about a month before. They brought the bag out, and inside were just pieces of the canister, and there was a label on it that said it arrived empty. So I'm guessing it was smashed up and destroyed in transit, and I'm imagining that would have ruined the negatives because they didn't include the negatives when they returned it, but they did in the bag. They gave me the pieces of the broken canister, I guess, as proof to be like, hey, sorry, it got destroyed. And I guess that could happen, like there's risk with developing any film, but I was pretty disappointed, especially since with the 110 film, and I don't do it myself, I take it to CVS, and it takes a month, usually at least a month to get it back, so it takes a long time. I wasn't charged, obviously, for this, although I spent money on the film, just like $10, so not crazy. But I've also updated my chart of film prices of hobby film cameras, broadly defined as kind of cameras that are for the hobbyist that you don't have to get separate lenses for. It's all in one kit, basically, camera and film. Those are the only two things you need. I've really enjoyed shooting 110 film. I've gotten some cool shots on it. It's been a good time, but I'm gonna go back to 35 millimeter. So this is an updated chart that I kind of accidentally made exactly a year after the first one I made. These prices are all as of December 26th. So this is a year later. I've added a couple of cameras. The graph I originally did was incorrect on the Instax. I had that priced for Polaroid. The Instax has cheaper film. You can get for $39 you get 50 shots, which is much cheaper. It's not the cheapest on the list. The Ektar 35 millimeter half frame is the cheapest, although it's kind of an interesting kind of math you're doing to double the photos, because yes, you technically take twice as many photos, but they're half the size. So the way of thinking about that as a budget is kind of it's kind of like if you bought a candy bar and you wanted to have twice as much of the candy bar, so you cut it in half and you said, okay, I have 2 candy bars. Like, technically true, but the per square inch, no. At least that's my understanding. I don't think I have that wrong. Also notably, disposable film cameras, they're more available as of me checking this last week, and they're a little cheaper, so that's interesting. And I haven't included 120 film before, so I included that. The developing times for these all vary. Developing prices all probably vary. If you develop your own film, totally different game. These are rough estimates of what I could find online and from my own experience. If you take anything to CVS that's not 35 millimeter film, I think it's going to be around $20, depending on how many prints. But that could be variable too. Also, a lot of these cameras vary in price online. The Instax and the Ektar, those are all going to be around the same price new, whereas, the Instamatic is still a wide variety online. So all of these have flash, I think, except for the Instamatic, which is another point against it. Any photos I took inside basically were too dark, and a lot of the photos I took were kind of washed out, which I think might have been the type of lomography film I was shooting on, but I could be wrong. So in summary, I do still like this camera. I will still use it from time to time, but I don't think 110 film is going to be what becomes your new take with you on trips wherever you go to take shots kind of thing. I think it's the kind of thing that anyone should try, because it does accomplish a specific look. It accomplishes a kind of vintage retro look that you can get with other things, but not like with 110 film. And so for that alone, it's worthwhile to try. But it's become too much of a hassle. I have to wait a super long time to get the photos back, and if I do get them back, great. If I don't, well, that's another 3 months until I next probably will get photos back. So those are my thoughts on that.